What's good? Happy Friday, Lucky Lefty Podcast. I'm SD2 Mike Shaun Davis. Left will be along shortly. I'm starting to pick up a trend, LL Nation. The Lakers win and Malik is on time. The Lakers lose. I don't know if he's wiping up tears from the night before or he's sulking a little bit, but it seems like he has a tougher time getting here when the Lakers lose. I'm something I'm picking up on. We'll ask him about it. As always, brought to you by Onora Whiskey. OnoraWhiskey.com. It's that premium American whiskey, OnoraWhiskey.com. And if you drink, by all means, make sure you do so responsibly. We're going to talk about a lot of things today, but we're going to answer a lot of your questions as well. Taking the limits off is what we want to talk about today. I'm actually impressed with Marcus Freeman. I'll tell you why. I was wondering how he would react. This time last year, we gave the antidote of high stakes poker, right? Everyone else in the casino were playing on the outer tables. And then you had Nick Saban, Kirby Smart, and Dabo at the big boy table, right? And they looked up, and Marcus Freeman had pulled up a seat. He had Peyton Bowen in the fold. He had Keon Keeley in the fold. Quietly, he had Dante Moore in the fold. And they all looked at each other and said, how in the hell did he get here? But lo and behold, at the end of the day, those 5 stars did not stay in the class. So I'm going to tell you why I'm thoroughly impressed with the way Marcus Freeman responded to the failures of the 23 class. 23 class, top 10 class, historically, the best numbers from a recruiting standpoint in the modern day era of recruiting rankings. But a lot of despair, a lot of disappointment wrapped up in that class as well. And with all of that being said, I was really interested in seeing if Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman would adjust their recruiting plans, would they go away from getting out on big time recruits early? I was interested in seeing what they would do. So before we get to that, we always have to mention Apple Podcasts, Spotify, CFB Nation. Search for us, Lucky Lefty Podcast, Rise and Draft with Ryan Roberts. Also CFB All-American. Great content. We give you audio edibles every day with a home of the misguided passion. Lucky Lefty Podcast. We spend it different. So think about this. 3 of the top 50 players at some point in time in the 23 class were committed to Notre Dame. Marcus Freeman hit the ground. I can't even say hit the ground running. He hit the ground in the fastest sports car known to mankind. That's how fast he took off in his initial recruiting class. And after everything that happened, I think a lot of people wondered how Marcus Freeman and the staff would react to the losses, to the disappointments. I personally was wondering that because it took them a while to even offer five-star defensive tackle out of Chicago, Justin Scott. So I was saying to myself, like, man, are they moving away from the five-star kids? Do they really not want to sit there and battle for young men that perception might say are heavily influenced by NIL? And then back, CJ Carr, in my opinion, we can debate this. In my opinion, I'm interested in seeing him at the Elite 11 competition because I don't know what he is right now. I don't know if he's a five-star. I don't know if he's a highly touted 4.5 star, but I want to see him against the best. I want to see him for a week out in California throwing against the best, and that will give me the best evaluation of whether or not he deserves to be a five-star, in my opinion. 7-on-7 circuit, he's been looking really good. I will say this: the importance of your quarterback being signed in your class. You're seeing the benefits of it in the 24 class. You're definitely seeing the benefits of it. Cam Williams has been elevated to a five-star. In my opinion, Isaiah Canyon upside is far beyond five-star. That's just my opinion. Well, he's finally wiped his tears away, LL Nation, and made his way into the studio. I like to observe a lot, Left.
Okay.
I made an observation.
You made it out to Dayton?
I said I made an observation.
Okay, talk to me.
When the Lakers win, you on time. You raring to go.
Is that what it is?
Oh man, when the Lakers win, you like, yo, let's go. Let's get the show started.
Yeah.
Lakers lose, you like, man, give me a few moments.
I can explain this one. I can explain this. This delay was due to a coaching dispute about.
So let people know you're the OC offensive coordinator at Lakewood High School, and you guys have started summer practice, right?
We're in spring ball.
Spring ball. I'm sorry.
In the depths of it, we have a showcase for our seniors coming up. We have a pretty good offensive tackle that's got some D1 offers. And so I care about the run game a lot. I think a lot of it is due to being at Notre Dame, where the run game and Harry Heastan is a sacred grounds.
Mm-hmm.
So I have high expectations for my offensive line. Right? So,
yeah.
When we're going over blocking schemes and we're talking football logic and we're proving it with film, I don't like the emotional coach explanation of why you want to do it a certain way. If it don't work, we're not doing it. So I had to take the liberty of making a petty cut up of all the plays of the way I like to run the play compared to the way he likes to run the play. And we have a team meeting later where I have to explain to him, and I'm going to give him the opportunity with his cut up of the plays that he wanted to run the way he wanted to run, and which is going to have a football conversation. So
that's a pretty fair conversation, though, in high school.
For high school, yes.
I agree.
So that's what held me up. But yes, the Lakers lost yesterday, but LeBron likes to play possum. Play dead a little bit, get their confidence up, let them max out, let them feel good. But we're winning where it counts, at their place, at home. We want them to know that.
You do realize every game counts. It doesn't matter where you play.
Yeah. But LeBron, usually loses the first game, but he had to make a statement, winning the first game, to let Steph Curry know this ain't that 50-point game you had don't matter because this ain't the Kings. This ain't the Kings. So let me go ahead
Oh
temper
man.
you down first game, and then we'll have a nice little series.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Yes, we had to divert from the topic in hand to deal with his lamenting a Lakers loss. That's probably why he was late. And despite the cut ups, we're talking about Marcus Freeman shockingly doubling down, in my opinion, in a different way. Remember Wednesday we had the conversation that said Marcus Freeman has readily recognized that the defensive line and the quarterback positions had to be elevated immediately. Like he came in, he tried to deal with things the way they were. He tried to work with, how the roster had been built previously and how things are traditionally done. Then all of a sudden he just hit the brakes, right? And he has a conversation with his quarterbacks to say, hey, I'm bringing in another quarterback. I'm just letting you know. Tough conversation. One quarterback bounced, the other one stayed for the time being and eventually bounced after the blue and gold game this year. Now, he adds Kenny Minchie. Sam Hartman comes in via the transfer. CJ Carr's come in with the 24 class. I know you can ask this question, Left, because I said for me right now, I don't know if CJ Carr is a 5-star. I can't wait to see him in the Elite 11. I can't wait to see him come out to California, lined up against the top 11 guys, other top 10 guys in the nation. And I want to see his arm. I want to see his accuracy and his athleticism back to back days. Prove it to me. I want to see if he's a 5-star. Right now, he's a high 4-star, 4.5-star for me. I just don't know right now. Can he
Yeah,
be a five
if
star?
you a four and a half, damn near 5-star already, you definitely have a potential of crossing that, I guess, elite status in the rankings.
Hmm.
But I do believe that CJ Carr is a 5-star in what it takes to bring together a class that can help you be successful, even if you individually aren't a 5-star. To where if you're getting Isaiah Cannon, Cam Williams, and possibly Jason Robinson out here, you're talking about having guys that can make your job a lot easier. So I do believe from a profile of what you want in a quarterback, CJ Carr is a 5-star. He's heavy in recruitment. He's heavy on social media. He has heavy belief in the university. He wants to be there. He committed early. So from what you want to impact a class and can galvanize a team to play behind him, especially if it's possibly early, if he's a sophomore playing or something, I think he's doing a 5-star job at that. Individually, I do think that he has some talent. He can throw the ball around a little bit, but in shirts and shorts, it's hard to really get a clean understanding of your decision making when you're getting put on the ground sometimes. So that can only be seen when he gets there. But I do want to see him, and what you can tell is if he wins. Is he a winner? That's all you can really go off of going in before he starts college. Is he winning games? How he does it obviously has been touted as a 4-star already. So he has some talent that Notre Dame believes in. So for me, is he a winner? Can he win games? Can he win state? Is he a 4-time state champion? I think that would tell me more about who CJ Carr is as a 4 or 5-star than just trying to judge these outside, backyard games. But this 7-on-7 stuff.
Which he's hot right now. The 7-on-7 circuit, he's been killing. But that doesn't matter to me.
Yeah,
You
that's not
know,
winning games for
to
Notre Dame.
me, it's 11-11. I mean, the Elite 11 on to his senior film. That's all I need to see, right? And you talked about it, how important it is to have that quarterback signed in a class early. It means a lot. As crazy as it sounds, It means a lot. And then the second piece of recognition, they've recognized, even though they got off to a slow start, and Left, you said this, man, you've been saying this. You were like, yo, Kyle Hamilton, that's cool. Ben Morrison, that's cool. Jay Mickey, that's cool. It's cool to have guys on the back end talking trash. If you don't have no big dudes down there in that swamp, the trenches, talking that trash and intimidating people, you ain't about to do nothing.
Yeah, it only goes so far. It don't reach the line of scrimmage when you talking that far back.
Man. And the recovery, Notre Dame initially was in on Elijah Rushing. Something happened. Something happened. The relationship, in my opinion, I think Marcus Freeman stepped up and refused to take no.
On what side of things?
I think, and this is just me, Elijah Rushing really wasn't high on Notre Dame after having things with Coach Washington going early. Went through a spell where things went different. And then I think Marcus Freeman stepped up and wouldn't take no for an answer and stayed on the kid. And Al Washington began to hammer on the kid even more. And I think the persistence really felt or made Elijah Rushing feel like, okay, like, yo, they are real. They do really want me. Man, they really feel like I can come down to Notre Dame and make a difference. Left, because you have to understand, like, getting Isaiah Canyon from Warner Robins was a blessing because Chancey Stuckey is from Warner Robins. So if anybody can go down there and say, yo, I know what it's like to be from here, and I'm telling you that you can fit at Notre Dame and develop at Notre Dame, and we can get you to the NFL. He had that young man's ear because he had relatability. There's a relatability in Marcus Freeman. We saw it. I told you. Justin Scott, early on, Mike Elston had him. Michigan was at the top of the list. Notre Dame really wasn't communicating at a high level with Justin Scott. And then all of a sudden, Marcus Freeman shows up at his school, and the next thing you know, everything is flipped on his head. Why? Marcus Freeman is really that dude. He's really that dude. Like when he gets around, when people get around him, something happens, man. He has a magnetism, charisma, whatever you want to characterize it as. He draws young men in. And when you're going to get players from the South, right? When you have a 300-pounder from Miami committing early in the 25 class, it's like, yo. And he talks about what it was like and how Marcus Freeman and Coach Washington made him feel like this was the place to be. This is a kid from Miami. Now we're getting kids from Warner Robins, Georgia. And after all of the disappointment surrounding Keon Keeley, another kid from Florida, Tampa, big-time kid. What does Notre Dame do? They go right back to Florida and go after another big-time kid in the 25 class. They go right back to Florida, and they try to get a kid at safety, and DeMello Jones, who ultimately ends up at Georgia. That's okay. I am over the moon happy with Marcus Freeman and his staff and their willingness not to back down. Because, yo, at one time they had Dante Moore, Peyton Bowen, and Keon Keeley. Bro, that disappointment, can you know how that might make some coaches back off and say, you know what? Let me do the Brian Kelly route. And just kind of submit to the fact that big time players don't want to come to Notre Dame. And Marcus Freeman is like, nah, we're not doing that. They're blessed in the 24 cycle to have a 5-star in Chicago that's 300 pounds. Okay, but you have to get them. You have to get them to commit. You have to get them in the class. But they're putting in the work. They're putting in the work. I saw they put in another offer to another athlete out of Georgia in the 24 class just yesterday. Man, Marcus Freeman, Al Washington, Al Golden has stepped it up from a recruiting standpoint when he really didn't do as much last year. This staff, man, is really impressing me in their belief in what needs to be done for Notre Dame to get to that championship level.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Marcus Freeman is taking those steps, like you said, that uh, is something that I think the fans felt were steps that needed to be taken that may have been hard, but were also the right ones needed, and which is why we believe he's the guy. I think we honestly and genuinely believe Marcus Freeman is the right fit, not because he was already there or because the kids liked him a lot. He really has a vision for the future of the program that's different than what we had, and it's different in the fact that we believe in it enough that we think we can really transform the way we view the perspective of Notre Dame in relatability, and not only relatability, but to be so young and then so early in his head coaching career that they can actually win. And you can see results of that through the coaching staff. You can see results of that through the recruiting classes. You can see results of that through the player development and the draft picks that come from that. You can see a result of that of the success of transfers, which we'll see this year at the quarterback position, and how Marcus Freeman is able to make with what he's got and be able to have bridge years and in a rebuilding time where you're trying to find your and develop your franchise quarterback. He can make it still work with the 1-year guy. I mean, he was the number one transfer QB in the portal. I mean, that says a lot. A guy that's experienced in college football, that's seen a lot, been through a lot, got a lot of accomplishments, trusting a second-year head coach. On top of the fact of offensive coordinator recruiting that left. So it just shows that Marcus Freeman is taking the right steps. But, it's going to have to put pen to paper when the season comes and we got to win those games.
It's really encouraging, man. Like the upside of the wide receiver class to me, they really can be like a class that all 4 wide receivers go to the NFL. Like,
Absolutely. And we said that's that next tier of receivers that we getting. We have good receivers. Because Tobias is on that fringe of that next tier. But
when I say 4, I'm talking about the 24 class. Feeling good
CJ's
about
guy.
Jason.
CJ.
Feeling good about Jason Robinson eventually landing at Notre Dame from Long Beach. Go ahead, Left. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and I'm recruiting Jason Robinson. I'll tell you that right now. I'm gonna get on the phone right. We play him week 3 of the season. You might want to come out. It's gonna be. I'm gonna hit Chancey to come on out. We're gonna have to do it to him nasty though, Polly. We're gonna have to put it on him now. But thank goodness he doesn't play defense, because I would have to smoke him. He'd probably lose his scholarship messing around with my offense. But I do believe that having a kid like that, having a kid like Cam Williams, having a kid like Isaiah Kenyon that are different. A kid that I thought in the 23 class that would have been like these receivers was Brandon Hillman. That's why I was huge on Brandon Hillman, because he was different. You start looking at it to me like, okay, he's an athlete, but it's he can be special at any of those positions as an athlete. Like a Xavier Watts. We found that out when he got to Notre Dame, but we're finding kids in high school earlier that can do both, like Isaiah King. He even has some throws in there.
Fact.
His man, and it looked good. Like his first 30 seconds, first 4 plays, his quarterback plays. I was like, we crewed the quarterback. Then he out there catching, and so these are next level. I mean, pretty soon they about to be catching the punt, punting it, kicking it to himself, throwing it to him, stuff like that. But Chancey Stuckey knows, and which is a great hire by Marcus Freeman to bring a guy that can attract the next level receivers. It's one thing to be a good school that has coaches and kids gonna come because it's a good school, tradition, all that. But it's a whole nother thing when the recruiting coach at that position is an attractive reason why you want to be there. Because then you're gonna start pulling out the real five-star talent, the real Charles Jagasaw type of players that are really good, that are attracted and have the knowledge to think for the future and getting prepared for the league, aka Carnell Tate. That's why Brian Hartline is so good, because he's a really good coach and he can get them ready for the league. Carnell Tate's attracted to that. So when Chancey Stuckey can build that on his resume, that he can turn guys and get them ready into the league, that's going to make the receiver position be next level elite. It's going to make him be next level elite.
And you know what? Sometimes you have to take a loss in order to get to that level, right? You have to raise the expectations of that room. And I think they've done that. I think they've raised expectations, and some people within the program that were on the roster either couldn't deal with the raised expectations or felt like the expectations were something like personal towards them and just didn't want to be with the program anymore. Um, Competition is competition, right? If you're a competitor, I've never seen you play, Left. I've never seen you play video games, ever. But the competitor in me would be like, dude, I'll smash this dude in 2K. I'll smash this dude in Madden. I've never seen you play. I've never seen you play. But the competitor in me,
That's what it's about, though.
the competitor in me will have me to say, man, I'll smash this bum. I'm not worried about this dude.
Never seen him.
I'll say
On Madden.
disrespectful stuff like, dude, I'll whoop you with the Wizards.
Yeah. Kyle Kuzma had 50 points, something crazy.
Well, you know, we used to say I'll whoop you with the Sacramento Kings, but we can't say that anymore
Can't say that, they
because they
kinda
actually have a squad now, right?
But for about 14 years, you can say that, though.
Right. Like, dude, I'll whoop you with the Kings. But honestly, man, that is one of the greatest things that I think that comes about from what we're seeing with these offers and the coaches being on the road. And we said it on Monday, like, man, look for like a nice flow of new offers to come forth. Because this coaching staff, led by Marcus Freeman, is under the Fearless Act, bro. They're operating under the Fearless Act. Like, so what? So what we lost Keon Keating? So what we lost Peyton Moore? So what we lost Dante Moore? So what? Watch us now. You know, whether it's true 5 stars or high 4 stars, right? They all count. They can all win games, right? But you know, you need the 5 stars in that defensive line. You definitely need the 5-star at quarterback or the best talented quarterback, and you flow from there. And the fact that Marcus Freeman readily identified, hey, where we're at these positions is not good enough, and has moved forward to try and solve those issues. Yeah, I feel real good. I feel real good about what Marcus Freeman has his program going.
Yeah, you know, it's got a good base, a good foundation, something you can believe in. Uh, but at the same time, you know, it's all good and fun and games until you have to win the games. And I think he's positioned himself well enough to where that's the last little icing on the cake
Uh-huh.
to make him a coach that can be at Notre Dame for a long time, because we believe he can win some championships.
Left. Before we switch over to talking about the questions of the week, you got a lot of questions lined up, fans, for the Culture Friday. If you have a For the Culture Friday question, just put FTC by it, FTC, and then we'll answer your question and we'll get to it. But ultimately, Left, there's a new era in a sense. I hope Marcus Freeman is given the time to flip this roster and flip this culture. It's not something that's easily done, and it's not something that happens overnight. That's why we asked Notre Dame fans last week, I believe, like how disappointed would you be with a 10-3, 11-2 record this year, right? Like, what are your expectations? And that was on the back of the whole Giannis Antetokounmpo comments after the post game. Like, at what point will you put Marcus Freeman's feet to the fire to say, okay, now it's championship or bust? You know, do you give him 2 years? Do you give him 3 years? No, at what point?
Well, the way they've kind of done him so far, you would think he's on the hot seat every other month. It felt like he was on a hot seat on after the Fiesta Bowl game. You know, like, good grief. I mean, unfortunately, we all know in the back of our minds.
People did overreact after that Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, the man didn't even get to start yet.
Oh my God, how did you give up that type of lead? Like, how did you get that type of lead? I'm like, yo, look, man's first game.
I mean,
he loses a nail biter to Oklahoma State. And
then his real first game as a head coach is Ohio State.
On the road. And he carries the lead for 2.5 quarters in the horseshoe.
Against a team that's scoring 50, 60 points a game, left with the lowest point total they've had all season. Lowest point total all season. First year head coach, first game on the road, top 5 matchup. I mean, good grief. And in the second game, you lose to a team that's bottom 1,500.
Bottom 1,500, bro.
I mean, my goodness. So it's like, so I never felt like he was ever in the clear. The only time I felt like he was in the clear is when he ran in the locker room and was like, I'm the coach, you know, and all the kids ran around. After that, I haven't felt too safe with Marcus Freeman position that they're just, you know, letting him just run the program the way he wants to yet. You know, I mean, you get into the hiring situations and, well, hell, before he started, they had already hired his offensive coordinator before they made it official as the head coach. That tells you right there. To a guy that wanted to leave the whole time. I mean, we could just keep going with the story. Like it's getting better. But damn, I hope that he takes all of this like a grain of salt or takes it in stride and puts it behind him in his short but very tumultuous first 2 years. But I think the third, fourth year is going to be bright, especially because the quarterback situation is right. The staff seems to be like they'll be intact for longer than a couple months. And there's some trust going on and a belief that we're not going to do the same things we did in the year before.
Let's see. Lilo Galante has a question for us. Who's better, Carnell Tate or Cam Williams?
The one that plays for the green. Not for the NIL green, but for that Irish green.
No, dog.
Let's see what Carnell do this year. He got to go against Ben Morrison, the robber himself.
I mean, I'll put it like this. There are not a lot of people that walk into that Ohio State wide receiver room as a true freshman. And
well, it's not as good as when they had Garrett Wilson and all them boys. Is he walking into that room?
First of all, you act like he's not as good as Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave.
No, I'm saying would he start in that room? The Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, that type of room? Not saying that he wouldn't.
I don't know. All I know is he did it. Tell me a true freshman. I know that's not easy to do. As a true freshman
it's
wide
not easy to
receiver.
do. No. Well, at Ohio State, all the freshmen seem to get on the field real seamlessly. They get rotated in somehow. Shit.
Bah, bah, gunshots.
So Cardell's going to find his way. One, because he's worth it. Absolutely.
Oh, man.
But he definitely wasn't going to go there to be sitting his first year. And I think Brian Hartline has figured out the formula. You know, I think it's a formula he's figured out to, first of all, manage the first round talent that you have to make them all happy and stay. It's kind of easy when you have a first pick of the draft quarterback. Not going to lie.
Yeah.
But also, you found the right plays to showcase them and to all make them happy. So, however you did that and still recruit 5 stars each year and find a way to slide them in there too, I think that's masterful work at the position. Something Chancey Stuckey is trying to build himself. I think he can do. He did at Clemson.
Yeah.
Maybe not as long as at Ohio State. But he got T. Higgins and what's his name? Justin Ross, right?
Yeah. Mike Williams. Wait a minute. No, I think Mike Williams was before Chancey was on the staff. Notre Dame says, what year was Saban, Smart, and Dabo in when they started winning big? I think it was all different, right? I mean, Nick Saban won at Michigan State, then he went to LSU, won a national championship after, I think, 2 years. Then he went to Alabama. I think he won in his 3rd year. Dabo really struggled, almost ended up getting fired. Then finally turned the table. Taj Boyd in the crew that led to Deshaun Watson, and the rest was history. Kirby underachieved for a while, in my opinion, because he had the talent. And Kirby, for some reason, just refuses to go after the quarterbacks. Like, the fact that he refused to play Justin Fields and was like, man, just give me Jake Fromm, is kind of goes to the mentality that he has, that if I surround a decent quarterback with all of this talent, we should be able to win football games. I don't need the flashy 5-star kid. I'm not even sure if he really, because they went after Justin Fields instead of Trevor.
Yes.
And that's how Trevor ended up at Clemson.
Yes. Exactly.
Man, look. I don't know. That's interesting. It depends, though. That Marcus should get, in my opinion, I'm giving the man 2 to 3 seasons. Man, do I want to win a national championship this year? Yep. Do I want to win a national championship next year? Yep. I think I'll give him 2 to 3 seasons to see, how things come along. This is a question for you from Doma Wap. I think he's talking about your offense, Left. In your view, why weren't the plays working? Coaching or talent?
Definitely coaching, 100% coaching. We have an outside zone scheme, but we're trying to be consistently hitting the outside. If we're trying to get the outside, that means we have to protect the edge. If we're trying to run horizontal and we have guys trying to block vertically and reach, it doesn't make sense because you're allowing run throughs, you're allowing a disjoint of the line. You don't get to be able to stretch because you're taking one-on-one blocks instead of being a Congo line down the side to the sideline. So it's a matter of a coaching technique, and that's why we have film, so we can prove which coaching strategy works better, because the play looked two different ways when we had one technique compared to the other. But the talent is there. That's why we have the scheme of believing we can run sideline to sideline on teams, and then have RPOs off of that, boots, all type of play action. So if we don't create sideline to sideline flow from the linebackers, then you don't have a running game when it comes to outside zone. We might as well just be under the center two back I formation team and run vertically. But we're challenging our team to be a sideline to sideline team that we can do different stuff off of.
Lucky Lefty Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, CSC Nation. You already know the YouTube channel, Lucky Lefty Podcast. Subscribe. That thumb that goes up like that, smash that. Helps with the views. Leave your comments. We respond to all. And then, like we said, CFB Nation. We give you the audio edible each and every day. Home of the Misguided Passion. Great content. Leave 5 stars. We greatly appreciate it. The Lucky Lefty Podcast. You already know. We spin it different. It's for the Culture Friday. So when we come back, you already know. We're chopping it up about something in the culture. And then we're going to get to more Notre Dame questions from you guys. If you have a question, make sure you put FTC next to it. We'll make sure we get to it on the other side. So Lucky Lefty Podcast, we spin it different. All right, Lucky Lefty Podcast. We have some super chats to get to. And we got one FTC question right now. Before we get to those questions, though, let me tell you something. I might have witnessed the worst episode of Power ever last night.
It was the worst because so many things were just like, no way.
It's like, dude, why are we fast forwarding through like storylines? Like what?
Yeah.
What
The Sacks thing ended too quick. It was crashed out way too quick. The Effie and Kane was too quick because she just got fake busted by the DEA, and then 20 seconds later she get busted again. But this time they got her though. When they rolled down the window, and Lauren was like, "That's her." Oh,
her face was priceless though.
She knew she was, and then Kane's face was priceless too. But Kane should have known because Tariq. I don't know why Tariq didn't say Lauren was alive way before.
He couldn't.
But then he would have known about Sacks.
Well, he found out about Sacks from Lauren, right?
After he went and got Effie to
Tariq
set Effie up real bad.
He doesn't trust Kane. So
no, he doesn't trust Kane, absolutely. He wasn't tripping. Kane. He talking about Monet, talking about you know about this? You know what they doing? He the only one staying focused.
Man, the cat's like, man, look, I'm trying to get money back from RSJ.
Man, RSJ not playing no games neither.
And then all of a sudden, just this Fortune 500 company is just like the Madoff of Power now, right? Like it's just a Ponzi scheme.
Oh, the whole thing.
It's just too much, man.
It's too much. Where's it gonna go? They knocking off dudes left and right. Davis was about to pull the strap on Sacks as soon as I'm like, dang, Davis, you a lawyer. What you doing?
Hey, all lawyers need a strap though. Keep it a buck.
I guess so.
If you're a good lawyer, especially a good defense lawyer, you definitely make sure you have a nickel plated in the desk at all times.
I mean, my goodness. So yeah, I don't know where this is going to go from here because Diana just is the oddball in this whole situation. And then you got Drew, who is the serial killer, emotional. Drew got to go next for me personally. I thought he should have went before Sacks because what is Drew's role for real? Like, honestly, he just out here serial killing,
bro,
crying, doing the absolute most.
This dude is like getting hugs, therapeutic hugs from Everett,
crying on the TV,
crying, going
killing
viral.
dudes,
Like what?
showing up to the dude hotel with the other guy, like just and what, like throwing stuff in the house. What you breaking stuff for? Like Kay said, what's wrong with this dude?
I was like, yo, okay, if this lines up with 50 choosing to leave stars, and they're like, man, we got to get through this storyline because we're gonna start afresh on a new network, then that's fine. I guess that's what you have to do from a business standpoint. But man, that was some awful writing.
It was some awful writing how they did Sax like that, because I didn't understand why is the side character taking him out. Like, what?
It just made no sense. Like, dude, like so now they know nothing about what's going on. Sax was the key.
Sax was the key. And Tariq sitting there the whole time like, he looked like our dude Franklin when his mom killed Teddy. He was just like, what? Why would you do that? What sense
Oh man, it was crazy. It was absolutely insane. Lucky Lefty podcast. So Benny the Butcher, you knew it was coming. It was only a matter of time.
Freddie Gibbs stuff.
The Freddie Gibbs stuff, but also, man, look, the joint with Benny, Conway the Machine, and Fabulous, Brooklyn Chop House. If you have not heard it, give it a listen. You knew Jordan Poole was going to be the laughing stock of hip hop over the summer. You already knew it.
$100K
man.
I knew it was a bar. Somebody got it as a bar.
Oh man, Benny said, "I'm trying to buy a truck like Jordan Poole." They already going at his head. What did
he buy it on though? On one date, what do you even buy for that much for one date?
First of all, the only way that works if he pulls what Quavo pulled on what's her name?
Sweetie?
Oh, Sweetie. Well, he leased it, and once they broke up, he went and picked it up. Now, if he's leasing her the vehicle, and for the length of their relationship, and they break up, and he goes and pulls it and sells it back to the dealership, then okay. It really doesn't matter in my opinion. You're still a sucker. And that just lets you know he just got money and he's already spending it on a female that he hardly knows. And like Mason Cameron,
you sound like that?
like Mason Cameron said, bro, she from the Bronx. It don't even take all that.
They said you get her a slice of pizza and a soda, bro. Dang. A slice of pizza and a soda, $12.
Man, that's it. Just go to a nice bodega in the Bronx, slice of pizza, soda,
chopped cheeses or something.
Man, you'd have been in there. This dude up here.
They said you did way too much for that.
Way too much. Cameron said, and your game is suffering. And your game is suffering.
Your game is suffering.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Let's get to some of these FTC questions. Tyler Smith said, would you guys say LeBron changed Jordan's game when he came into the league? People say Jordan changed the game that makes him the GOAT, but why isn't LeBron the GOAT for changing the game?
I think Jordan was just the best player in the game, whereas like Steph Curry changed the game because he made 3-point shooting cool.
No, Mike changed the game because you could not win a championship according to people in the NBA unless you won it through the big man. It was all about the center, all about the big man. Mike was the first person to prove that you can have a dominant wing player to build a team around. And that's when you came with the Tracy McGrady's and Kobe's. He changed. People started looking at the game and building rosters differently after Mike.
Oh,
it became
yeah, they
more about the
definitely built
wing
rosters.
players.
Okay.
Yeah, it was more about the wing players. He changed the game in that way. LeBron is just a one-on-one. I don't even know if he's changed the game. He's just
a one-on-one, right?
yeah, because no one you can't say, "Oh, I want to build something. I want to build something." There is no LeBron. No one else has a LeBron.
The big three against LeBron. That's where that came from. Remember, the Celtics, Kevin Garnett teamed up with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen. The big three. That was because LeBron. So that I guess they built rosters to beat LeBron at that time. And then he broke that up and they went to Brooklyn and he broke it up again. Oh, okay. Then he had to play the super big three with the Splash Brothers and Draymond. He had to break that up again in GOAT fashion. Had them flying out to the Hamptons for Kevin Durant. So I don't know if you can give credit for changing the game or just him just being a great player.
Now, see, Jay Henry said Bron started the point forward era. No, he didn't. No, come on, man. We're not about to just ignore Scottie Pippen like that. Stop. We're not gonna do that. And I'm not saying Scottie Pippen is on the same level as LeBron, but come on, man. LeBron didn't start the point forward era. No, he didn't.
You're not giving LeBron that?
No, he didn't start that, man.
Oh man.
Come on, man. He didn't start that.
You sure? Because I'm pretty sure you started seeing.
Bruh, are you kidding me? You know how many times I heard Scottie Pippen point forward growing up watching Bulls games?
Probably, but that was just that team. It
And that's the fact. Like, how many point forwards are in the league right now?
I don't know.
The fact that you can't even.
What would you say though?
Point fours? Somebody said it in the chat. Zion could be considered a point forward if he stayed healthy. Because he really does bring the ball up and they run the offense through him. Other than that,
Draymond's a point forward.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Josh Buffo, the motivational business banker, said, question, who is the biggest ND decommit on recent memory? Who hurt the most?
Brandon Hellman. I don't know, actually.
Oh, dude, I don't know if it was decommitment or it just didn't work. But when that cat ran,
Alex Anzalone, I would say Alex Anzalone.
Ooh, that was a good one.
He's still playing.
That's a good one. He ended up going to Florida
and got drafted and still playing. So
yeah, I don't know if it was decommitment, but I know when Randy Moss caught that case and had to dip out of the '93 class.
That's the greatest one. Yeah, that's the greatest one right
there. That hurts.
Or us taking Ron Paulus over Peyton Manning. That's another big.
That part. For several reasons.
So either the Randy Moss one or the Ron Paulus over Peyton Manning is probably the biggest.
God, dog, what the hell were they thinking?
And then I'll say Alex Anzalone.
They took Ron Paulus over Peyton Manning?
Yeah. But Peyton was trash in college for real. He wasn't Peyton Manning the Hall of Famer.
He wasn't Ron Paulus. He was better than Ron Paulus.
But, Peyton Manning didn't win the championship. T. Martin did. And that was a year after Peyton left, wasn't it? I'm not going to say Peyton Manning was trash in college, but he didn't beat Florida when he was there.
Hey. They didn't have a better team.
They didn't have
They just didn't have a better team. I'm not mad at them for that. Yeah, I guess Draymond could be considered a point forward. Clyde, you're right. He could be considered a point forward.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said
Draymond had you know what? Draymond played an incredible game last night. I just
he
need
played an
him to
incredible game in the Kings series too.
I need him to get LeBron's name out his mouth as much though. Man, you competitor right now, bro. Stop loving on this dude so much, man.
He just
At least
respects
wait.
greatness,
At least
man.
wait until you're done with them. You see Steph ain't talking all that. Steph like, look,
Steph walking down the sideline talking to Bron, laughing with him in the
yeah,
sun.
that's cool. That's cool. But Steph ain't going doing a podcast talking about, oh man, I just man.
Look, Draymond's thinking about his next team and career after this because he know he ain't with the Warriors after this.
Man. Ryan Loftus, Shaun and Malik, how did you two get linked up? How did this show come to be? So I had these pictures of
Story, right?
I had these pictures of Left from college in a compromising position. No, we both met on Irish Breakdown doing a show. And then literally I just hit him up and asked him if he wanted to do a show.
Yeah.
That was it.
Since then, we was in business.
That was it. That was as simple as that. As simple as that. I think we both recognized, so somehow, some way, we were like on the same segment, and we were cracking jokes, and it was just like, okay, this works. And from there, it was just like, okay, we did the show, and yeah, we're here. Super chat, Truman, Dumel. Are you going to do another LL Chicago Bears podcast? I'm a Jets fan. Man, that's unfortunate that you're a Jets fan, my brother. But you're making the.
I don't know.
He said, but you're making the Bears my number 2 team. Oh, that's what's up. I appreciate that. You know, the NFL is going a long way to make sure the Bears are situating themselves to be successful in the next few years. So, you know, I'm glad. But yes, we do have some more Chicago programming coming in the next month or so. You know, that's part of our business expanding. We do have more content, and Left is out there on the left coast, and hopefully we'll have Los Angeles content coming in the near future as well. Another super chat. Can Notre Dame football be number one in recruiting, or at least the recruiting equivalent of a young Mike Tyson? Simply dominate. I'm pretty amped. Can Notre Dame ever be number one in recruiting, Left? I'm gonna say no.
I would say no too.
Just because the people that do the rankings are not
People
pro
that do
Notre
the rankings
Dame.
not gonna give us a fair shake unless we legit get number one in every category. But you know what they start doing then? They start dropping dudes stars, of course. Now they dropping guys stars, and now they not. They don't know now.
Yeah. Yeah. No. There's no way. Yeah. This time we got a handle on it. They're talking about this background. No.
Yard work, man. Real serious business out there.
Hey, speaking of yard work, bro, let me tell you something, man. It's not a lot of things that bug me. It's this viral video going around where somehow the video from inside a cockpit at night, they show what it looks like when what pilots are looking at nighttime.
What pirates are looking at nighttime?
Pilots
Okay.
are looking at out the window of the cockpit as they're going through turbulence. And it is it's something else to see what they what they see, which is nothing. That's basically what they see, nothing but
Wait,
darkness.
it's nothing. It's just happening, kind of thing.
No, it's like literally. Let's see if I can retweet it. It is like darkness mixed with clouds, and it's like, man, you can't see anything. So literally, everything is about the instrumentation and knowing your numbers and knowing the board and making sure you're going in the right direction because you can't depend upon your sight, right? You
Oh,
can't. You
so it's
can't see
kind of like a
anything.
depth perception thing. You just kind of like doing your job in the midst of like, but you're not thinking of it as I'm in the plane. It's like I can't see nothing, so I kind of just got to do my job thing.
And just because you can't see anything, it doesn't mean that you still can't do your job, right? You just can't depend on your eyes. Now you have to depend upon everything that you've been trained to do based upon everything that's in front of you. And it was an interesting concept because I thought about it. I took off yesterday in New Orleans and we took off, and I'm like, you forget what New Orleans is, right?
Yeah.
So we take off, and like, I open my eyes, and I'm like, yo, why are we flying out over this water? Because I still say, flying out of LAX is the craziest takeoff ever. Because you fly deep, they always take you out to the Pacific before they turn.
Yeah.
It's like Pacific, and then they bang the left, and then they start setting that course, right? They kind of did the same thing yesterday. And I just forgot for a second that the Gulf is right there. And I'm like, man, what the heck is going on? And then all of a sudden, my man just hits the left turn, and we started leaning. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I immediately went back to sleep, bro. What's your worst city to take off from or
Honestly,
land in?
I don't like anything about flying, so I don't like any part of it. I can't go to sleep on planes, nothing. So the flying experience is the worst experience for me.
Look, man, the worst, the craziest place to land is Denver because it's
Yeah, that's
literally
crazy.
you have to go up over the mountains and then come down.
That's crazy. Yeah, you're right. Denver's been crazy for me.
Denver is wild. It
Utah
is
too.
wild.
Shit, Utah was about crazy for me too.
I've never been out of. I've never flown or flown into. No,
It
New
makes you
York
kind
is.
of nervous because it's like the Utah airport is kind of like simply and it's kind of small and it just throw you off. You know, you're like too much opportunity for something can happen.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. But yeah, that just hit me yesterday. Like, man, how much how much belief do you have in training when things like how tough is it to believe in a program when you're not seeing the success that you think you should be seeing?
How much believe?
Like, how tough is it? Like, kids bought into Marcus Freeman, and 9-4 is not what that team saw. I guarantee you that team last year didn't see themselves going 9-4. This year, they might go 10-3, 11-2. And let's see, how tough is it to buy in when you're not seeing the results that you think you should see?
Well, I mean, just is everybody's different because how long is too long? You know, I mean, it's been 2 years and you got people ready to jump off the cliff, and the first 2 years as a head coach is still not fully your recruited team yet. You still try to get things in order, hire on the fly, make the transfers to build the bridge gaps as you're trying to find the right pieces. So for me, it could take a 5 year period if you're really giving a guy a chance. But some schools take 1 year, some schools take two. For Notre Dame, you get in a tough situation where you have to win now and win a lot now. Not like you don't get a real grace period, and the 9-4 is great for 85% of the country. 9-4 Notre Dame, even if you a first year head coach, is not good.
And
So I
the
mean
the
that's what
video made me think about that because I
yeah.
thought it was amazing. Dude, the pilots were so calm in the video. I'm looking at all of this darkness and turbulence and like what they're flying through, and I'm like, yo, that's bananas. And they're just sitting there like looking at their gauges, like, no, all right, all right. And at some
It's, it's
point,
probably it's probably the same. It's probably the same as like how you play in front of 80,000 people and you don't really recognize it.
yeah.
Being at Notre Dame, you on the field, it looks crazy if you start going like this. Like man, that's a hell of a lot of people. But in the game, you don't even be thinking about it. You just be like, all right, let me not get my head blown off by Chase Young on his edge. Let me pay attention. Let me look alive and not be looking in the stands and acting crazy.
And it made me think about Marcus Freeman. And you talked about it. Like, yo, it seems like he's been on the hot seat from the time he took the job. But at what point in the midst of all of the turbulence that he's trying to guide this program through, at what point does he hit a calmness in the midst of the storm or a peace in the midst of the storm to be able to calmly say, we got this. We still gonna get to where we need to go. Don't worry about it. Right? Because the crazy thing is, the only people that really know what you've really been through are the ones flying the planes. Because us in the back, we just feel it, but we haven't seen. We didn't see it. That's what stuck out to me. The pilots are actually seeing the craziness. Like Marcus Freeman is literally seeing all of the craziness. Fan base just feels it. That's it. We're just along for the ride. We're just feeling it. You know, coaching staff, they probably see a lot of things, but at some point, uh, yeah, at some point, you just have to recognize, man, that Marcus Freeman, and I think he's getting into that place where he's comfortable in his skin left, and I think he's starting to become that leader in the midst of the turbulence of trying to get everything corrected and back on track and in the right direction.
Well,
Where he's
when you in a position that many think that how'd you get this position, you probably starting with your hair on fire.
right.
And I think that Marcus Freeman understands that he can't come in here and act like it's the last 10 years with that coach where he can just start golfing after year three. He doesn't have that luxury, unfortunately. And I think it speaks to a lot of his dedication to uplifting the program over the hump. That, I do think Coach Kelly is a great coach. Obviously, he's still having success early on. Just getting down there, and that's a worse situation starting off than what ours was. and he beat Bama the first year. So even he, in 10 years, couldn't get it done. So Marcus Freeman's commitment to at least making it look different, like Gerard Parker always says, Gerard, however he said, he's done that. And I think that's what's got the fan base in the chokehold that we might have struck lucky first coach after a coach that has so much success and accolades at the school before. Because usually, you have a Hall of Fame caliber type of coach for that long of a tenure. It's a struggle bus to find a consistent coach right after that. Just like the NFL finding quarterbacks right after Hall of Famer leaves, right? So we're still on the right path.
Man, it's incredible that when you think about it, and the reason that video stuck out to me, because I was like, yo, this reminds me of the first year and a half years at Notre Dame for Marcus Freeman. Because it truly has been, man, from Tommy in Miami last year, the offensive head coach stuff, the other things with assistants that he wanted on staff, and reportedly, Chancey wasn't Tommy Reese's guy for a wide receiver coach. Like, as a head coach, why are you battling your offensive coordinator to hire somebody as a staff? Like, what?
Because he's the head coach of offense.
Then you go to the offseason. Tommy Reese finally leaves. He wanted to do so, previously. The debacle of Andy Ludwig. Wherever you fall, whatever side of the coin you fall on with Andy Ludwig, it was a debacle. Taking the bullets for the school after that debacle publicly, which is what Marcus Freeman did.
Being told to take the bullets, that's a whole different thing. It's one thing to try to galvanize and be like, I'll take this out. Right. But being told to take it it's like, wait a minute. I don't know about that. I thought I was being good character and by trying to take up arms and try to diffuse but you got a whole script. I gotta read. I'm not reading that. I'm not reading that part. I'll do it, but come on now. And this your second year? What are we talking about? So I do think that I think he's handled it a lot better than I think other coaches would. I don't think other coaches would of older tenure would fall in line with that. I think you can get it off on Marcus Freeman now because he's young. He hit him with some of the old head tricks. But I don't think Brian Kelly would have took no bullets. And he didn't. He never. Matter of fact, Brian Kelly never took bullets. Brian Kelly be like, oh, no. He just got to get better, or he didn't do something right, or, I don't know what's wrong with him. Or, he wouldn't. He got to the age where he said, I'm not taking no damn bullets. That's a young man's sport.
He said, no, I did that already once.
Hey, Coach Kelly, like, man, y'all made me take anger management courses. I can't yell at these kids no more.
Right.
Y'all done made me tamper down everything. So I'm gonna go. I had hired all my friends, fired all my friends, had to go through personal anger management courses with y'all. I had to handle the scandal with y'all. I can't recruit who I want all the time. Because at Cincinnati, Coach Kelly getting kids from across the street. Vine Street. The hood. Having open tryouts with the neighborhood. And Cincinnati got good because of that. That's some old head stuff. So he is clearly transitioned. I feel like now LSU where, and they probably don't say much to him, Where at Notre Dame, they writing scripts for Marcus Freeman. They got that chokehold on my brother right now. But he gonna He knows how to balance it well enough to still do his job. A lot of people can't handle pressure like that. When you're taking steps forward and they pulling your steps back at the same time, a lot of people can't handle that. So I do think that what he has done, and which I think you have to do at Notre Dame, is buffer yourself with great coaches. Buffer yourself. Get the analysts, get the background guys just walking around the office. Ed Orgeron, be like, is that Ed Orgeron walking around? You got to bring them in. Buffer the office and the building and the goo with elite people, elite coaches. I mean, we had hired a head coach for the Packers as a quarterback coach. That we need some of that energy in the building, and he's done that with the linebacker that came, his boy, I forgot his name, Laurinaitis. Got Laurinaitis in there, got Al Golden in there. Yeah, he probably still talked to Jim Tressel. Just had Jim Tressel walk around the building and some of that might, fall off on us. You know what I mean? So that's the only way I think you can manage being at Notre Dame as a head coach, is buffering yourself with enough pieces that can, take some of the load off of your plate.
Lucky Lefty podcast. Well, I think we have a couple more questions before we get out of here, Left. Omar Austin says, maybe my prior comments were a bit controversial, but seriously, do y'all think Zaire might eat himself out of the league? 6'7", 6'8", 280 at the 3 ain't it.
And get out of New Orleans. That food too good down there. I don't think that's a fight he can win.
I'm a living witness. That is not the place you want to be in trying to get right.
Wait. And you got all the money and access in the world? Man, he probably walked down the street. They like, Zion, get a free beignet platter. Try some of this gumbo over here. Get some free crab legs.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I would lose. He's losing that weight battle. He probably should have went to Utah or something.
Me and my brother flew home to New Jersey for winter break from Tennessee State. 2 months after 9/11, I slept the entire flight. Never been more hated by a full room.
I don't understand that.
Oh, I guess they didn't like the fact that he was asleep during times where it was a high. People were highly vigilant. I guess that he was just like, I'm good. I can't sleep an entire flight, bro. Like, I have to chop my flight to LA up. Like, the first hour, I'll like do something on the computer. The second hour, I'll like listen to music. Then the third hour, I'll fade a little bit and take a nap. And then I know, like, when I wake up from my nap, we're pretty much almost there. But people that sleep the entire flight, man, that has to be a really good feeling. I can't do it.
Yeah, I can get zero sleep on a flight. So
left anxiety on planes, man, bro.
I'm the third pilot every time.
So, bro,
see that thing moving too crazy.
So this trip to Ireland, how is that?
I have no clue. They got some courses on Google on how to get over it, but who knows? Could be just a money grab.
We'll see, man. I might document that. Malik's flight to Ireland, bro. Oh, man. Thanks for tapping in today, man. Today's show was really to show love to Marcus Freeman. And we think he's raising the level of expectation and just changing the narrative overall at Notre Dame. Even though we haven't seen results, it's happening in the background. And just continue to stay strong, continue to support him along with the rest of the squad. And eventually, through all the turbulence, man, we will reach our destination. You know what time it is.
Petticoat, 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 Junction.
It's time to get petty
Oh, we did a good job executing.
Are you upset with something?
and fire up the Petticoat Junction train.
I just don't like you.
You don't?
No.
What is today's petty historic? Petty Junction.
Petty Junction, pettiest stories of the day brought to you by Onora Whiskey and NoraWhiskey.com, the premium American whiskey. NoraWhiskey.com. Dennis Schroeder, I gotta throw you on the petty train, bro. Hey man, I understood why Draymond was upset last night, bro. Like, man,
Put his leg.
dude.
He was just using the bend the corner and like, come on.
Yeah, grab my hip, grab my upper torso, grab anything, bro. Don't grab my knee. For a basketball player,
I mean, but
don't.
I mean, come on, it's so much.
No, I didn't think it was warranted. I think who was on the call? Mark Jackson was on the call, and I thought Mark Jackson said it well. It's not a flagrant foul, but it's a dirty play because as a player, dude, whether it's undercutting guys, you protect the legs of your fellow competitors.
Okay, I agree with that. It was just the angle, he's short, obviously. He just getting around the screen. I'm not, that's the played up theatrics is like, okay, yeah, he grabbed your knee, could have been a little higher, but we talk about apples and oranges when it's happening so fast. When he flailed his leg out and it's like, okay, all right, you got yours, because LeBron had one with the charges. LeBron be killing me taking these charges now. He's 38. She doing LeBron taking these damn charges.
It was finally good to see LeBron get somebody actually had the heart to give LeBron a technical last night.
Oh, what? Oh, yeah, no, look. That ref is definitely hating, number one. We just having a conversation. He want to get emotional. You don't get paid to be emotional. Paid to do your job. They were calling some crazy fouls. The one he over Moses Moody head, he didn't even touch him.
Yeah. I was talking about the 3-point shot. Yeah, he didn't
even touch him. So if I'm LeBron, I'm like, what are we doing? Challenge that. Like, what are we talking about?
He didn't touch him. I'll give him that.
So he's dealing with that and missing threes. It's like, man, they obviously they got this one. You can win game 2.
So yeah, I'm putting Cameron and Mace on the petty train, man. They did not have to go at Jordan Poole as hard as they did.
Jordan Poole is going through enough, man. You don't know if you want to be on the Warriors or not. Then he act like he's Steph in the moments he shouldn't be. It's just like, man, Draymond trying to be a teammate, but how you a teammate, man? When the situation got blown way too much out of proportion.
So you couldn't, if somebody had smacked you in the locker room.
Nah, he ain't smacking. See what I'm saying? It was so not cool of a thing. It's like you got even saying that you like, I don't even know how you could. Kevin Durant couldn't stay, and the man called the man the B word. That's one thing. But you stole on a dude. I'm talking about also like and then it make the internet and everybody talk about for a week and all this other stuff. Man, what would you do, Shaun? Every day we got to fight.
Well, am I Draymond or am I Jordan Poole?
If you're Jordan Poole, you don't want to be on that team with him. And how do you? And then you get okay. So you get into a game and something happens. You having a disagreement. It's like, well, don't be saying nothing to me, because now I gotta fight you because I don't know what type of time you on.
Well, I would have asked for a trade if I was Jordan Poole. I already got my contract. I would have asked for a trade. If I didn't get the trade, then
Are you listening to what Draymond trying to pump you up or trying to tell you what how to do something? You like, man, get out my.
probably not. But that's part of his problem. That's why he got two-pieced. His mouth and his attitude. That goes back to why he was in the situation. Running his mouth on the sideline of practice. Draymond asked him what he said. Like, what you say? He thought he was tough, so he said it again. Blip, 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 blip. Nice three-piece with a side of biscuit. Honey on the side. That's the way it goes. He got three-piece, bro. Hey, let me tell you something. Because I know every man loves to act like they're super hard, right? Every man loves to act like he's super hard. Every man has been in a situation where they've had to count up the cost, my brother. Okay? You can say what you want to say. Every man has been in a situation where you've had to count up the cost. Not to say that you couldn't have one-on-one took certain individuals or any of that, but if it's like 2 of you and 5 of them, you might have to take the L on this one to just kind of be like, you know what? I'm walking away from this. Every man has been in a situation, dude, where you put your pride to the side and you say, you know what? The numbers aren't adding up for me. So let me go ahead and let this kind of fade. Everybody, you can't fight everybody. And Jordan Poole at that point in time should have recognized, dude, the key when Draymond said, what you say, like you saw his lips. He walked up to him and said, what you say? That should have been a clear sign to Jordan Poole, like, hey, hold on. This is escalating a little bit too far. But see, Jordan Poole is obviously he doesn't get it. He must not get it. Left, bro, if you're out in LA right now and you say something to a dude in a club,
That's a little different.
that's not different, Left. It's not different, dude. You know when to be on alert, period. If you're in a crib with your boys, no. If you're in a crib with your boys and y'all just kicking it and playing or whatever, and somebody still walks up in your personal face and say, what you say? You still gonna laugh and probably back up a little bit like, yo, what you on? But you're gonna be on alert like, yo, what's this?
Okay, I get that if it's your boys and you at the crib. If you in a basketball setting,
Dude.
And especially on a team, this your teammate. This ain't at the Y or at LA Fitness. This is a professional setting. And obviously you get into it. I got into it yesterday with my coaches about obviously a basketball conversation. And then obviously it can get a little personal when regarding basketball. But it's what we gonna box? Or are we gonna play basketball? And I think when you get emotional like that, it doesn't look good because it's like we're men here. Obviously, if Jordan Poole calling him a B word and all that, okay, I get it. If I'm just calling you sorry and we in practice and it's the heat of the moment or whatever, would you go foul out like that? You're supposed to be team leader. You ain't Michael Jordan where I'm Steve Kerr now. Like, I just got paid $100 million.
I don't care who you are. You're not walking up on me, dude.
No, okay, I agree with that. The walking up, I didn't think that Jordan was expecting that in practice. If this was on the street or at boys' crib, like you said, absolutely.
No, that's the point. Anywhere, you're not walking up on me. Anywhere.
But that's what I'm saying. If they were calling each other the B word and all that, okay. If he walk up at then that you're right. He should be ready. If I'm calling you trash and you talking about what you say, I'm like, yeah, you trash, you sorry ass. But that's how that. But how is that different than 2K? You ain't never seen me play. You ain't never seen the man play, but you say you'll beat him in 2K and he's trash, and you ain't never seen him play. It's no different.
I didn't say you were trash. I never said you were trash. I just know I'm better.
That implies that the other person's trash. How you better?
No. You think LeBron is better than Steph, but you don't think Steph is trash?
Okay, that's a good point. But it's still context to it.
That's all I'm saying. Man walks up on you, be on high alert, bro. He didn't just walk up on you for no reason. And Draymond's the type of dude, he don't give a darn about practice. He's already proven that. The way he spoke to KD in that huddle, he didn't do. That dude don't care. See you guys Monday. Great show. I'm not sure if I have an RTCF show tomorrow. I have to double check. I mean, that kind of is the Chicago, bro. In Chicago, you don't get benefit of the doubt. I'm sorry. You don't get the benefit of the doubt, man. We're not.
But you not think about it. This is probably not the first time they got into it about whatever. This ain't the first time they got into it about whatever, but Jordan's still thinking it's basketball related. They're not arguing outside in the parking lot. So if they arguing outside in the parking lot, okay, that's one thing. If we having back and forths in the basketball practice, and I'm assuming it's not the first time they got into it, but for whatever reason, this time you hitting me. Oh yeah, we got to fight for real.
Don't walk up on me, bro. That's what it comes down to. Whatever you got to say, you can say from right there. When you get right here.
But you know how most dudes do. They what you say? They pushing and shoving. Draymond straight hit the dude. I thought Jordan said, "Oh, we gonna push. You gonna give him up? I'm push you back." We did it. Man, this man Jordan said, "What? Well, it wouldn't even know." So that's why I'm like, that's wild, bro. That's wild. It's like, all right, bro.
We're not we're not debating whether or not Draymond was right. We're just further validating that Jordan Poole is a sucker. That's all.
Yeah, he got sucker punch. Yeah, I mean,
I think
most
sucker
in that situation would be caught off guard. Would you agree?
I would. No.
So you just stealing off on people like that? You stealing off on people like that?
That man, I'm on the baseline. That man is on the sideline.
Yeah, he is on the sideline.
That man walked all the way from the sideline. No, you're not catching. How are you catching me off guard?
Okay, I thought he was like under the basket type shit already.
No, Jordan came
from way over.
He came way over there to under the bucket.
Okay, you're right. Okay, that's different. You're right.
No,
that's different.
I'm totally on guard.
Yeah. I thought it was just like he just standing out of bounds and he under the basket. He just right there.
No.
If he walked way, bro.
No, bro. The moment you cross the baseline, it's like, yo.
Yeah. If he walked far as hell to do all that, yeah, you got to be ready at that. Because what else you doing all that? You stay, like you said, you wait.
You over there. We can argue from across the court. Great show. Great weekend, everybody. Make sure you spend it different. Be back Monday with a special guest, Lucky Lefty Podcast.